What's up guys, welcome back to the channel and welcome back to another video. I tell you what man, it is only April and I cannot believe it is this hot already. I had the fans going on in the shop before. It started up at 91 and it's only got down to 87, but I mean 87 is still crazy for April. So today's video is gonna be on this car here. We've got something that we're gonna be trying to take care of with this car that honestly I think most, if not all Genesis have this same problem. So this is my fourth Genesis, or I've owned four Genesis and all four of them have had this issue. I know a lot of people that have these cars. I've driven a lot of friends' Genesis Coupes, and it seems like it's very common with these cars in particular that you're driving down the road, you get to like 60, 65 miles an hour, and you get a little bit of a steering wheel shake. And it stays there from like 65 to maybe 80, and then around 80 it goes away. So it's just in that 60 to 80 range of speed that the steering wheel kind of gets a little bit of a shake in it, which is odd. I've seen people try balancing their wheels, making sure they've got the hubcentric rings for any aftermarket wheels that they're running. Obviously checking your brake rotors to make sure they're not warped. Done all sorts of things and haven't been able to get rid of the issue. So if you're a Genesis Coupe owner, comment down below if you have had this same issue with yours, where around that 60 to 80 mile per hour speed range, you get a little bit of a steering wheel shake. But for today's video, I figured I'd try something else because I do have a bit of a shake on this car from that mile per hour speed range. I've got hubcentric rings for these RPF ones, so I know the wheels are centered properly. My wheel spacers are hub bore to the factory specs, so they are centered properly. I've got brand new rotors and pads, so there's no uneven brake wear or warped rotors that could be causing the issue. So today, the really last ditch effort at this point, which it's not the end of the world as far as the shake, but I'd like to resolve it if possible. So we're gonna be trying to do that with some replacement wheel hub bearing assemblies. So I picked up some replacement wheel hub bearing assemblies. It's got the bearing inside of here and then the wheel speed sensor located on the back of the housing. So we're gonna be replacing the front wheel hub assemblies on the Genesis Coupe. It is the same for all models, BK2, BK1, 3.8, and 2.0T. I've also got some anti-seize just to make sure that the rotors and the spacers don't seize, and then some more blue Loctite as well for the bolts for the wheel hub assembly. So let's go ahead and get the car up in the air, get these wheels off, and get started on this installation. I'll tell you what guys, being able to just that easily lift the car off the ground, I'm telling you, if you don't already have a set of quick jacks, do yourself a favor, pick up a set. You will not be disappointed. You will thank me later, I can assure you that. And I'm not speeding this up, this is real time, just how quick. Just like that. Now you've got 2 feet of clearance under the car. I mean, come on guys. But let's go ahead and get these wheels off and take a look at what we're gonna be doing today. Like that, we got the wheel off. Now, my setup's gonna be a little bit different than yours because I've got spacers for these wheels on the car, but it'll be nonetheless very similar. I believe this spacer is a 19, which turns out to be the same size as the key for my lugs. Here's those hubcentric rings that I was telling you about. These are the 73.1 millimeter of the bore for my wheels. So those center the wheels on the spacers. The spacers are centered with the 67.1 millimeter hub bore from the factory hubs that we are replacing today. So now that we've got that off, we'll need to take the caliper off, unplug the sensor for the wheel speed, or the harness plug for the wheel speed sensor, and then there's 4 bolts in the back that are 17s to remove the actual wheel hub from this whole assembly. All right guys, so the bolt on the back of the caliper is a 17. Go ahead and be proactive and grab a zip tie or something to hang your caliper so it's not going to be putting stress on that brake line. I should mention as well, another thing that you typically will have to do around this step is take out these screws here that hold the rotor onto the hub. It seems that the previous owner to this vehicle had a bad day with these screws in the past and had to drill them out, so I don't really have them installed on this side. Not a big deal, you don't really need those screws to begin with. They're really just there to hold the rotor on during assembly of the vehicle. The wheel lugs are going to do the exact same thing as that screw, so it's not very necessary. But now got those 2 bolts out for the caliper, so it's coming out. Just stick this in here. That should hold it, not put any stress on it. And then now, with some effort, this rotor should come off. You might have to give it some mechanical agitation. Let me try that now. There it goes. So this is a new rotor, but when I installed it, I did not install anti-seize because I didn't have it at the time. So use anti-seize. That will prevent what just happened from happening in the future, or at least help prevent it. You can see there's some corrosion on this hub, so I would say clean it, but we are replacing it, so don't worry about cleaning this hub as of now. We'll clean behind the hub once we get these 4 17 millimeter bolts off and get the hub out of its assembly. All right guys, so I just hit those bolts with some WD-40, use the 17 to get them out, and now this should be ready to come off with some persuasion. I doubt these have ever been replaced on this car, so I'm not upset about replacing them anyway. And this thing is being a pain, so I might have to move to a bigger hammer. All right guys, well, finally got this damn thing off. It took way longer than it should have. So I'm gonna wire wheel all this up, clean the inside of here, and make sure to put some anti-seize just around the sides. So hopefully if I ever have to remove this thing again, it won't be as difficult as that was, because that was ridiculous. All right guys, so I got that all cleaned up, wire brushed, so it's all free of corrosion. Here I've got just some anti-seize that we will put along the inside here to help prevent this from seizing in the future. And I'm gonna put some around this flange here. Don't need a whole lot, so I'm just gonna rub this in. That should be good. Ugh. So now we've got the new, and that looks so much better than the old. So we'll go ahead and slide this right into position. And then we'll get these bolts here, put a little dab of blue Loctite on them, throw them in, and we'll pull this assembly into the actual hub. And we should be ready to continue with putting everything back together. All right, guys, got those all snugged up. That pulled this in real nice and easy. So now these 4 bolts get torqued down to 72.1 foot-pounds. So I've already done the other 3. We'll just do this last one. There we go. So now these are all torqued down. We'll go ahead and get the rotor back on, get the caliper back on. Before we do that, we will add some anti-seize just to this mating surface for the rotor and the backside of the rotor to prevent those 2 things from seizing. So let's go ahead and do the reverse of what we did before and get this side back together. All right, guys, just like that, got the rotor on, got the caliper back on, 2 bolts for the caliper, get torqued to 43 foot-pounds. Then we've got the spacer that I run on, got those torqued down. So now we're all ready to get this wheel back on and take care of the wheel hub bearing on the passenger side. Both sides are done. The car is back on the ground, wheels are torqued. This side was actually much easier. Don't mind the mess. Much easier to get the wheel hub assembly off, wheel bearing assembly. So that was good, but still not as easy as I'd like. So definitely got some anti-seize on there to help it in the future. But now it's all it's left to do is hit the car out, see how it feels from that 60 to 80 mile per hour speed range, and hopefully there is some improvement. All right, guys, I don't know how well you'll be able to hear me, but took the car out, I'm out right now, did a test from that mile per hour range, and it's definitely 100% better than it was before. Well, I'd say 100%. It's probably 85–90% better than it was. It's still a slight vibration from like that 65 to 75 mile per hour range, but it's such a small amount, so much less than it was previously, that I really am not worried about it whatsoever. It's now no different than any of the other Genesis that I've ever driven, so that's good. I think there might have been some issues with the wheel bearings, at least one of them. So I'm glad to have resolved that, and this is awesome. I love this car so much. I'll check back in once we get back home. I will also say, if you can't notice, the car might sound a little bit different than it has previously. That's because I reinstalled the secondary cats. So this is the first like driving video I've got of it. I will do a video at some point comparing the two, but this is catless headers with upgraded downpipes, factory secondary cats, and then a muffler delete with quad tips. And if I go into 6th gear now, you know, I can cruise, the car's not loud, the windows are down a little bit. Let me put those up. Now, you know, it's not bad. You can hear me pretty well. There's just a light tone of the exhaust in the background. It's nothing excessive. But when you want to hear the car and you get on it, you definitely can hear it. this setup and then maybe switch back to the other setup and see how it sounds. Hear some of the pops there as I slow down. They're not as prominent as they were previous, but it's whatever. Well, I'm not sure how well you could hear me in those previous clips while I was driving the car, but I did take it out and test it from that 60 to 80 mile per hour range, and it seems like it's 90% better now than it was previously. So it seems like now from like 60 to 65, maybe there's still some shake. At like 60% as bad as it was previously, or 60% better than it was previously. But then once I get above 65 to like 70, it drops dramatically down, and then anything above that, it's like non-existent. So that is an awesome improvement. I obviously wasn't expecting for it to eliminate it because, like I said, every Genesis Coupe that I've ever owned and driven has had some amount of, even if it's a small bit, of vibration somewhere in that range of speed. So glad to see that this did make a huge improvement. So if you've got a similar issue with your car and you haven't changed your wheel bearings out in a while or ever, then I would definitely recommend picking up a set. And it's a pretty simple installation, so it shouldn't take you too long. And hopefully it will make a similar improvement to your Genesis Coupe. But guys, that's pretty much gonna do it for this video. I hope you enjoyed this. I hope this was informative, because like I said, this seems to be a very common problem on these cars. So hopefully this helps someone out in the future. But with that, I will see you on the next video. I hope you take care and have a great day.